I don't know, probably like Android. Hey, it is 12 noon on Friday, which means it's time for this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Chrisman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every single Friday, 12 noon Eastern time, helping you mastermind or grow your real estate business. And what we're talking about today are need-to-know tips for making money in real estate. Something, whether you're brand new to real estate or maybe you're a seasoned veteran, you might already know some of these tips, but I bet you're going to find something new in today's episode. So that's what we're covering today, tips to make money in real estate. I'm John Chrisman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. You're watching State of Real Estate. State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern time, grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. State of Real Estate. And welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Carismo, and today what we're talking about is tips for making money in real estate. So we're going to get right into it, right into a tip that's going to help you whatever level of business it is that you're at. And this is something I always like to remember, and it rhymes, and it's one and you're done. So that's tip number one. One and you're done. Now, what do I mean when I say one and you're done? I mean exactly that. You have one of anything and you're done. So let's put this in perspective in the real estate space. How you can apply this in every aspect of your real estate business. This is really a universal rule that you should live by. Now, there might be things where you only want one of them. You probably only want one spouse. You maybe don't want to have multiple spouses. Maybe you do. Who knows? But you've got that one. And you've got to take care of it and nurture it. And in real estate, if you've got just one of something and something happens to that one, you're done. So let's say you've got one buyer. A lot of new agents get really excited when they get a buyer. They've got a buyer, but just one. Just one single buyer. Now, if it works out where that buyer does buy a property, that works out pretty well. But what happens if something falls through? What happens if they can't get approved for financing? What happens if they change their mind and don't want to buy a property anymore? So you can't just rely on one of anything. You've got to be dealing in multiples. So that's really what this really means. What you want to remember here is one and you're done. And what that means is have multiple. Multiple buyers, multiple sellers, multiple clients you're working with at any one given point in time, multiple sources of leads. Let's say you rely on just one source of leads. What happens if something gets messed up with that one source of leads? One, and you're done. So you got to have more than one of everything. So there's a book recently I read by Ryan Serhant. You might know the guy from The $1 Million Listing. And he's got a book where he talks about juggling balls. And his idea is you want to have as many balls in the air as possible. Because if you've got one ball and you're just tossing it up and down, that's not juggling. You're just playing catch with yourself. Very easy to do. But then to juggle multiple things, multiple balls, multiple buyers, multiple sellers, multiple clients at the same time, that takes a little bit of extra skill. That takes some finesse. But when you do that, you could drop a ball. If you've got 5, 6, 7 balls that you're juggling, if you drop one, you're still juggling. You just got one less ball that you're juggling. Whereas if you drop that one ball you're throwing up and down, you're not doing anything anymore. You're done. You're not playing catch with yourself anymore. So that's the number one tip. If you take away one thing, and you can go ahead and tune out right here and just remember one and you're done. And I promise you, this is going to bring you so much value in your day-to-day business. So remember, don't rely on just one. Not one buyer, not one seller, not one client, not one source of leads. Try to multiply everything it is that you're doing. And again, this gives you some room to have a margin of error. It gives you some wiggle room if something falls through. So that's tip number one. And this is going to really help you. Again, what we're talking about today is two things: making money and making money faster. You will be successful in real estate. You will be successful. I don't care who you are. You will be successful in real estate if you give it long enough. And how long that's going to be is going to depend on a lot of other factors. But anybody could close at least one deal in real estate, and really ultimately more. It's just a matter of how much time is it going to be from not selling anything to actually selling anything. How long is that time going to be, and how can you shorten that? How can you take time out of the equation? That's going to be number 2 here. Take time. I don't like the way that sounds, take time out. I'm not telling you to take time off. We'll say eliminate time. I like that one better. Eliminate time. Any way you can. Eliminating time. Now, this goes right hand in hand with number 1. If you want to speed up getting your first deal or your next deal or whatever the case may be, don't rely on just one client. This is a way to eliminate time, to speed up. You've got a phone call to make. You've got somebody who maybe is expecting your call or maybe who isn't expecting your call, and you're sitting there waiting to make this phone call. Speed up that process. Eliminate time from the equation and watch how much faster you get things done. Don't spend as much time thinking about it. You're waiting to make a conversation, go make that conversation. Even if it's a tough conversation, eliminate time and you're going to start doing things faster. Again, going back to you're going to be successful in real estate if you give it long enough. The question is, how long is it going to be? How much are you actively eliminating time? You training on how to prospect or how to market or how to handle your clients better or how to do buyer consultations or how to do listing presentations. Any training it is that you're doing is going to help you take time out of the equation. Number three, another tip ties right into this here, is eliminate failure. Now, easier said than done, but now what do I mean when I say eliminate failure? What are you doing to eliminate your chances of failure? So like I said, you will be successful in real estate if you give it long enough. So if you don't want to do anything else, you just simply waiting. Eventually, someday, it might be years from now, you might have somebody where that opportunity just magically presents itself and you get a deal that actually closes without really having to do much on your part. But that's probably not why you're probably not getting a real estate license or starting a career in real estate to have years of waiting time. So we want to speed up the process. We don't want to rely on just one of anything, and we want to eliminate failure as an option. A really specific example we could use of this. So when a buyer is buying a property, there's a lot of times a inspection contingency. That you put an inspection contingency. And the way a lot of buyers might think about this, or even real estate agents might think about this inspection contingency, and when I say inspection contingency, this is, that you've got 15 days to cancel a contract based on the inspection. That you can inspect the property within 15 days and you don't like it, you don't have to buy the property. It gives you an out of the contract. And this gives us some reassurance for our buyer when they're in that situation that says, oh, I don't know if I want to buy this property. What if there's something wrong with it? Hey, don't worry about it. We've got an inspection contingency in here where we've got 15 days to get an inspection done. Let's get this under contract, and we've got 15 days to get this property inspected and make sure it meets your standards. And if it doesn't, ultimately, yes, we could blow this deal up. We could terminate this deal, terminate this contract. Now, that ultimately would be failure, because why are we entering into a contract if we don't want to perform the contract? Now, the property might not be right for them, but if we know that property is right for them, but maybe there are issues, there's no such thing as a perfect house. You might be buying a property from a new home builder. It'll probably still have some minor defects to it. Even a brand new home can have defects. It's very standard. There's no such thing as a perfect home. And us eliminating failure is, yes, that is still an option. Failure is always an option. There's that quote, failure is not an option. Failure is always an option. But how do we eliminate it? How do we remove it as an option? Well, what are our other options? If there is a problem that comes up, let's say this buyer gets this property inspected and they find something they don't like. Maybe they find out that the roof is in terrible condition. Yes, we could just blow up the deal and walk away right here and basically have that contract be a failure, or how do we stay in the deal here? Well, we've got two other options. Well, how about the seller fixes this? That's option one. All right, well, let's get the seller to fix the roof. Let's put a brand new roof on the property. Maybe the seller doesn't go for that. Well, what's another option aside from blowing up the deal and failing here and so on and so forth? Option number 2 is let's get a price reduction so we can get this roof repaired. So there's other options other than that big option of, oh, let's pull out, nope, bad roof, don't want the property. And how we can proactively eliminate this failure as an option is when they're asking us about this inspection. You'll hear this if you go rewind back and listen to the way I talked about this, is I didn't mention that, hey, let's cancel out the contract. If you don't like the inspection, you could cancel out the contract. Yes, that is what this ultimately means. But yeah, we could do that. That's option C. That's worst case scenario. This blows up. But we also have other options. Maybe we get the seller to fix it. And if the seller won't fix it, we could maybe get a price reduction. And maybe we talk to the lender where we could get this rolled into the loan maybe for doing a repair. There's so many options out there. If we're creative, this is the lazy. This is the easy way out. And if you're trying to be lazy, this isn't the way that you want to go, because now you've got to start all over. You've got to find them another property, hope that it's going to be perfect. And they're having this idea that, oh, if the property isn't perfect, we'll just cancel it and move on to the next one. And this is, again, eliminating failure. That's a very specific example of this. But we could use this in so many different aspects here that, we're trying to not fall down. You're going to fall down. That's why I said don't fail. I didn't say don't fail. It's eliminate the failure. Minimize it. Minimize it. Make it as minimal as possible that you're going to fall down. And how do you do this? Well, number one, you get trained on how to do this stuff correctly, how to do this stuff in the best way. Even just watching these videos here every Friday, you just taking away that little detail of, oh, we could cancel the contract, but we've got those other 2 options. Let's reduce the price. Let's get the seller to fix it. And this is something that will keep the deal. It'll help us stay in the deal. We're minimizing that failure and really eliminating it here if we're able to stay in the deal. And so recapping what we've got so far, 1 and you're done. Now, ultimately, you will have deals that fall through. You will have failure. And that's why you don't want to rely on just any one thing. You want to have multiple buyers, multiple sellers, multiples of everything. You want to eliminate time. And one way you do eliminate time is by multiplying what it is that you're doing, not just working with one client, because if you're doing one client, then one client, then one client, and this is maybe 3 months, then 3 months, and 3 months. You've got 3 deals in 9 months, maybe 4 deals in a year. And that's why most experienced agents know that you can't just work with one client at any one time. But that's a huge mistake that a lot of new agents make, is they get hung up on the idea, ooh, I've got the buyer, I've got a buyer. Yeah, great. Or I've got a seller. Okay, great. Who else do you have? Because if you rely on one, you're done. So we eliminate time by stacking these. That, okay, we want to be working with 4 buyers at the same time, 4 buyers, 4 sellers, whatever aspect of your business you want to apply this to, because when this deal falls through, we've still got 3 others lined up. Because if this deal fell through here, well, now we got to start all over again, and now it might be another 3 months, and we're going 6 months maybe without getting paid here. Whereas when you stack your clients, and this is completely possible to do, there's no buyer or seller, no matter how needy they may be, that they're going to envelop and take up all of your time. That's not the case at all. If you're being smart about the way you run your business, there should be no problem you have in having 4, 5, 6, 7 clients at any one point in time, and maybe even more than that. Especially if we're talking about listings that are lower maintenance as opposed to working with a buyer. You could have multiples of those. And now, if we've got, let's say we had a 25% failure rate. Let's say that's a 25% failure rate. So if we just had the 4 deals in 1 year, we're only going to walk away with 3 deals. Whereas when we're stacking these here, now instead of 4 deals, we've got 16 deals. And we could still have a 25% failure rate. And we've got 12 deals closing. So it's really obvious when you look at it this way and you ask yourself the question, would you rather close 4 deals this year or would you rather close 12 deals this year? Obviously, the answer is going to be 12 deals, but you've got to account for deals falling through. 12 clients does not equal 12 deals. And it might even be higher than that. I mean, even if we had a 50% fail rate, that half of our business, maybe if we're only working with 4 deals, we're a little bit better, we're a little bit more careful, and we only have 25% of the deals fall through. And then when we do 16 deals, 16 contracts in a year, and even if we have a 50% failure rate, now we want to try to eliminate failure and minimize this as much as possible and doing everything we can to be proactive, so hopefully we get all these deals closing. But in theory, as you add more, that you're doing more of the same thing at one time, you're probably going to be better at it, so you probably might even have a lower failure rate. Maybe it's only like 20%, but even if it did go up to 50%, you're now closing 8 deals instead of just 4. But you're doing that because you're stacking these people up, that you're working with multiple people, not just one and you're done. You're working with multiple people at the same time. Look, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stick with us. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching State of Real Estate. What's required to become a Florida real estate broker? Well, a few things. Number one, you have to have at least 2 years experience as a sales associate or a broker. Now, this experience could actually even be earned outside of Florida. It just has to be 2 years within the last 5 years. So 2 years of experience to become a broker. You also need to take a pre-licensing course. The broker pre-licensing course is 72 hours. It's got a 100 question and of course exam. Once you pass that and file all your paperwork with the state to upgrade to a broker license, then you just need to pass your state exam. That's another 100 question exam. You need to get a 75% on that. You complete those items and you'll have a Florida real estate broker license where you can open your own office or just remain with your current broker as a broker associate. To find out more about upgrading your real estate license to broker, check out upgradeToBroker.com. That's upgradeToBroker.com. You're watching State of Real Estate. What's required? Welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Chrismo, and the show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every single Friday, 12 Nation time, helping you grow your real estate business, to mastermind to help you make more money. And what we're talking about today are just some general tips that you should be implementing in your business, no matter what stage of your business it is that you're at, whether you're brand new to real estate or you've been doing real estate for 10 years. Take some time today and ask yourself these questions. How many clients do you have? Now, this doesn't, it's 1 and you're done. I like that because it's rhymes, but 2 isn't really much better. 1 is the loneliest number, 2 is better than 1, 3 could be just as bad as 1. So you want to keep going so you've got as many people as possible, because the more people it is that you're able to help, the more money it is that you'll make. You can make as much money as you want if you just help enough people. That's really the secret here. You're there helping people. But you can't help people if you don't have people. So ask yourself that question, wherever it is that your business might be at this point in time. How many people do you have that you're actively helping? And then what can you do to eliminate time, to speed up this process? Maybe you've got some clients, or really we could maybe call them potential clients, that are on the fence right now. That are on the fence saying, oh, you know, I don't know if I'm ready to buy yet. What can we do to show them how they might be ready to buy? How they might have everything that they need? How they might qualify for a loan now, even though they think they've got to rebuild their credit? You know, maybe we take that specific example. Maybe their credit isn't the greatest now, but do they still qualify for a loan? And they might say, yeah, but I want to boost my credit score so my interest isn't as high, or that I don't have to have mortgage insurance, or whatever the reason might be that they're saying that, hey, you know, I'm not ready to do this right now. Why don't you do this right now so you take advantage of the appreciation and the equity buildup that's going to happen with your property? And then once you do have your credit rebuilt, and a mortgage is definitely going to help you rebuild your credit and make your credit stronger. A mortgage is one of the best ways to boost your credit. So when your credit does rise, you refinance. You refinance and you take out a new loan and you pay off that original loan, and then maybe you dump the mortgage insurance, or maybe your interest rate now becomes lower. I mean, right now, if we're talking about interest rates, how do we eliminate time and things? Right now, we've got super low interest rates. Interest rates are ridiculously low right now. Let's take advantage of that. Let's get you in a home. Even if you don't qualify for the best financing options, is there still some financing option you do qualify for? And maybe that answer is no. Maybe there's somebody who just has terrible credit that wouldn't qualify for financing a hamburger. Maybe there's something we could do, isn't there? Now, maybe not us specifically. Maybe we're not a credit repair specialist, but are there people out there that are credit repair specialists? Absolutely. And we want to put them in touch with them to see if we could eliminate time, to see if we could speed up this process, to see if we could speed up our process of helping them. Hey, rather than trying to help them 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road when they figure out their credit on their own, let's get a professional involved to see if we could kickstart and jumpstart their credit so they would qualify for a loan and we could eliminate time, speed up this process. And then how do we eliminate failure? Well, a big part of this is right from the beginning having the right attitude. Having the right attitude that, hey, look, we're going to make your home ownership dream a reality. We're going to get your home sold. We're going to get you moved into that new home that you want. We're going to get you upgraded to that new home that you want, whatever it is. See how confident I am when I say this? And that little bit of confidence, that says that, hey, yeah, you know, the whole idea of failure is not an option, saying that, hey, no, we're not going to fail at this. We're going to get the job done, whatever it takes. Do you do whatever it takes to get the job done? And whatever it is, maybe you're not in real estate right now, but let me ask you that. Do you do whatever it takes? Whatever you possibly could, even something that's outside of average. Look, you don't want to be an average real estate agent. If you guys are watching this show here, you probably don't want to be average. You want to be above average, and maybe not even above average, but extraordinary. That you probably want to have an extraordinary real estate business and real estate career. That's probably why you're here, because the average real estate agents, they're not tuning in. Even for something like this that's free, where there's tons of value, where the only cost here is your time to sit back, watch this, and put this information into action, an average agent wouldn't do that because they're happy with the status quo. But what you've got to remember is there's only 2 things that are going to happen in your business. There's 2 options. This is tip number 4. You've got 2 options: growth or decline. There is no maintain. You're either growing or you're declining. And if you think there's an in-between here, you're declining. Because maintaining, when you're maintaining, if the market shifts, what's going to happen? If there's an issue going on, if you're not constantly pushing up and pushing forward and pushing that rock up the hill, you're going to be falling back down. You're going to be sliding down. So there's either growth or decline. And you want to ask yourself that question, because if you're not in growth, if you're not pushing yourself forward and pushing yourself to be better and greater and to serve more people and to grow your business, you're in decline, where you might not feel it now, but give it time. Give it time and you will feel that decline. So those are the 2 options you have. You're either growing or you're declining. No in between with this here. And if you think you're in between, you're in decline. Because if you're not constantly training yourself, educating yourself, adapting yourself to new trends, to new options that are available, then you're declining. And it's pretty obvious if we call it this, growth or decline, which one do you want? Do you want to grow or do you want to decline? Of course, you're probably going to say, no, I want growth. I want to always grow. And that's exactly what you want, because when you're always pushing yourself for more, even you might end up maybe maintaining. Now, it's not going to feel like you're maintaining. If there's some sort of market shift, if you're doing this, you might plateau off if there's some sort of change in the market. Whereas if you're maintaining, something changes, you're going to go down. So you want to constantly be pushing yourself up. So if there is issues, you level off and then you push for growth more and you continue to grow. But again, if you're just trying to level off, it might look level for a while, but really that level is going to turn into that. It's going to be going down. Tip number 5, we kind of already mentioned it already. And this goes right in hand with the 2 options, is don't settle for average. Being average is a disease when you're running your business. It's a disease, and why I like to say it's a disease is because when let's say you're around other agents that are average, what are you going to be? Probably going to be average. So don't settle for average in anything. Do something above average, even if it's just following up with your clients, maybe going above and beyond for your clients. Because what's going to happen when you go above and beyond for your clients, where you're above average for your clients? You're going to get above average referrals for that clients. And average referrals, if you're just being average, no one's going to remember an average experience, but they will remember an above average, an extraordinary experience. So you don't want to be an average agent. The whole idea of average, and if you look up the salaries of an average real estate agent, they're nothing too exciting. I mean, it's a good amount of money you can make. You'll probably get by. But if you really want to help as many people as possible, and maybe you just care about the money, and well, that's going to come through helping as many people as possible, you can't be average. Especially when you're starting out, you've got to really push yourself to be an above average beginning agent. Regardless of what point it is you're in your career, you never want to fall victim to average, because that's when you're falling in this in-between here of maintaining, which really, we just said, is actually declining. So recapping these tips here. Number one and you're done. Don't rely on one of anything. Anything that you could add more to, multiply. Add more. Create more. Have more clients. Have more buyers. Have more sellers. Number two, eliminate time. Speed up everything that you're doing. Make things happen faster. Make buyers' dreams a reality faster. Make sellers' dreams a reality faster. Make the speed at which you obtain a client faster. Whatever you could do to eliminate time, do it. Number three, eliminate failure. You're gonna fail. That's why I said eliminate it. I didn't say don't fail, because you will fail. If you get hung up by trying to not fail, you're gonna get caught up and lost in trying to figure out, okay, how do I do this so it doesn't result in failure? It will happen. Just try to minimize it. Eliminate it as much as possible. And whenever there's another option other than failure, push into getting that option. The average agent might just say, yeah, you go find another house. But now what are you doing? You're getting lost in this whole process of looking for another house again, and you're trying to find a property that's perfect, which doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a perfect property. Again, even a new construction home can have defects in it. So eliminate failure as an option, minimize that as much as possible. Again, remember your two options. You're either growing or you're declining. So you constantly want to choose growth. You never want to choose decline. You never want to choose to go down, to become less. You always want to push yourself for more, because that's is going to be your insurance against changes in the market, against changes that can disrupt your business. If you're constantly growing, you're in control. When you're growing, you're in control. When you're not in control, you're declining. Because now you're just at the whim of what happens with the market, what happens with your clients. You might rely on one buyer, and if you rely on one buyer and then something happens where they don't end up buying, you're left with nothing. And that's why, to recap this all in, don't settle for average. If you're doing these four things, you're already setting yourself up to be above average. So don't settle for average. And look, we spend all day going through more and more tips to help you make money faster in real estate, to jumpstart your career. And even if you're later into your career, this is that jumpstart that gets it back up and going, that gets you back into growth. If you're in decline, if you feel like you're in that position of average, you can take control of that. You have control of it. It's going to take some work, definitely, but you could do it. So look, that's about all the time we've got for today's episode. Now, if you've got questions on any of the courses that we offer, maybe you want to get your real estate license, or you want to take advantage of our sales training that we offer to help you grow your real estate business, we've got advisors standing by to answer any questions that you have and assist you in any way that they can. Our phone number is 813-333-2676. Again, 813-333-2676. Let us help you. We're here for the life of your real estate career. We want to make you part of the Tampa School of Real Estate family so we can help you become successful, because that's the way we succeed. We succeed by getting you to succeed. So call us up. Let us help you achieve that success. 813-333-2676. If you like today's episode, hit the like button, hit the bell icon so you get notifications whenever it is that we go live. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Have you completed your post-licensing education yet? Look, I know you're probably thinking, hey, it's not my renewal deadline, I don't need to do post-licensing yet, but look, here's why you want to do post-licensing as soon as you've got your real estate license, as soon as you're able to take post-licensing. It's not just another course about arbitrary laws that you're never going to use again. It's about real-world, usable topics that'll help you grow your real estate business, to help you take it to the next level. Look, let me ask you this one question. If this course helps you close just one deal, if you get one extra deal from Post Licensing, is it worth the investment? I'd say it is. We get paid pretty well, so one deal means a lot of money. Check out postflorida.com. That's postflorida.com for the full details about Post Licensing. You're watching State of Real Estate.